In another blow to critical thinking and free speech on campus, a University of Virginia professor says faculty, not students, have complete discretion over which speakers should be invited on campus. And a Princeton University student newspaper says conservatives don't deserve the right to free speech because if their arguments were strong, they'd meet political opposition. Well, joining us to set it straight today is Hannah Scherlacher. She's program manager and opinion writer for Campus Reform. Hannah, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
So universities wonder why fewer millennials think a college education is necessary, and now this. What's going on?
So when we see schools, when we see professors come out with statements like professors should be the determiners of who gets to speak on campus instead of students, that should be a major red flag. Professors already use their classrooms as bully pulpits to force their ideas onto students, which is why it's so important for students to be able to have free speech and invite whatever speaker they want. Professors have already proven themselves to be untrustworthy arbitrators of what is deemed acceptable for students. I mean, look at how they tried to ban Ben Shapiro or Alan Dershowitz at Berkeley and other schools. These are highly respected intellectuals, and these professors think they're unworthy to come to campus because their ideas don't align with the left. So I'm glad, students are pushing back against this because it's dangerous when we put that much trust in the hands of administration.
Well, they're going to advance their own agenda. And Hannah, it's not shocking, really, when you hear about what Princeton is doing. The editor of their newspaper there was uneasy about an op-ed only because the writer didn't say it's my belief that it's safe to ignore the conservatives because they appeal to a right that doesn't exist. Tell us about that.
It's absolutely absurd. So, these students at Princeton of all schools, this is an Ivy League school where students are supposed to be able to hone their critical thinking skills and draw their own conclusions. And when students write op-eds like this, it's really a reflection of what the university and what professors are feeding them from top down, which is that their eyes and ears need to be shielded from any conservative ideas. And this is detrimental to students because they're going to enter the real world completely unprepared, where they have to socialize, interact, and work with students and other people who don't agree with them.
Tell us about the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. There was a professor there who recently implied that President Trump, not Stephen Paddock, ultimately may have been responsible for that massacre at the Route 91 concert.
It's just disgusting, really. It's horrible. It's just another example of professors pushing their beliefs on students, and especially during such a horrific tragedy. But it's just a trend of professors saying these inflammatory remarks, and they do it because they get away with it.
And Hannah, although some people do not celebrate Halloween, many college students do. And I understand a student magazine has warned against racist costumes. What's that all about?
Right. So Ohio State University, a student publication, put out a big flow chart to determine whether or not your Halloween costume is racist. And, they have things like, if you're white, you cannot dress up like Prince, or you cannot dress up of anything that has to do with another culture. But none of that's okay, but it's completely okay to make fun of Trump. It says, then you're good. And this is a real flowchart, and it's something we've actually seen at other schools across the nation. At Florida State University last year on Halloween, the school banned Harambe costumes because somehow dressing up like a gorilla is cultural appropriation, according to the school. And then we saw Tufts University threaten police force on anyone who wears offensive police costumes.
Hannah Scherlacher, we're glad you're keeping an eye on what's happening on U.S. college and university campuses. Thank you so much for keeping us informed and setting it straight.
Thanks for having me.